Hey everyone, welcome back to Law Friend. This is Surya, and yes, we are meeting after a lot of days. After exams, a lot of different exams, and a lot of different exams के results have come out. Nlsat हो गया, CNLUET हो गया, CUET PGLLB का exam का हो गया, MHCT का हो गया, and with the exam results comes the ranks. Happiness का एक moment होता है, which is very brief actually, because immediately after that we need to jump into accommodations, we need to jump into the entire counseling procedure, each and everything. So, yes, we are busy with that. But yes, we are now back for the new batch of students, for the new people who will be joining this journey, the Nlsat 2027 journey, with us for a good lot of 10 months. So, yes, let's properly start that journey because beyond batch students, we are available at nlsatselfprep.in. We have our own Telegram channel wherein we regularly provide free mocks for all law entrance exams for the 3-year LLB. And very soon we are also rolling out for CLAT as well. So, yes, stay tuned with this community, stay tuned with the materials that we provide, stay tuned with the all India rank mock test that we do, see how people in this community are studying, because if you want to prepare for an examination which is very unpredictable, both from the side of the questions and very unfortunately this time from the side of the administration as well, you need to be ready. You need to be ready for all possible scenarios like these people. So say hi to your seniors at NLS. These are all the law firm students who have made into National Law School of India this year. All the rank 8, 3, 13, 25, 15, each and every one of them. They have been our students, a few of them really close, late night mentorship sessions because some of them were working as well. So, yep, it has been a long journey through and through. But that aside, right now, let's focus on the upcoming batches. And the motive of this video is very simple. We'll be talking about two things. For the new people who are new herein, who want to know what exactly is NLSAT, who have some faint idea, okay, this is NLSAT, this NLSAT is for this college, this is NLS, and I want to prepare for it. If you have that much of idea, if you are in your last year of graduation and want to have a short professional career course ready by the time you graduate, so yes, NLSAT is for you. In a previous video, the link to the video will be in this icon. In the previous video, we talked about how it has been increasingly seen that people are opting out for law instead of an MBA because, again, interoperability of the same, how law provides you a higher edge over all the subject areas, and later also you can go and opt out for MBA as well, and you will be ahead of a lot of people. So, continuing on that metric only, we will be talking about our 1 year complete plan for NLSAT 2027. This plan will go well for both sets of people who are joining us as our batch students right now. The first batch has already been going on for 2 months now. The second batch, the enrollment for the second batch are going on right now, and the batch is set to start around 15th of the batch is set to start around 15th of this month. The people who are joining us in our batch, people who are joining us in our free study group in Telegram, people who have been regularly availing resources for all OLEDs from the nlsat.in website as well. So for all of these people, if you had to set a benchmark for yourself, that okay, if I have to do, either I have to do this or more than this but not less than this is that plan. You can make changes to it obviously, but this plan is going to be the bare minimum, not exactly the bare minimum, but it is going to be the standard that you should keep yourself at. You need to know that by this month I should be able to do this, by this month I should be well versed with this skill, and by this month I should be able to attempt all of these things, and by this time space I need to be not only be able to attempt, but I should be attempting these many things. So it is going to be both substantive, it is going to be both empirical, and in this video we'll be talking about your entire NLSAT 2027 journey, how is it going to look like, and what it should look like. So before directly jumping into the video, a lot of you, since you are new, you are a little new to this entire thing of what exactly NLSAT is. So let me introduce you to NLSAT. Earlier, earlier as in way back, 1995 के वक्त, law used to be a 3-year degree. Law used to be a 3-year degree. Generally, people used to take up law after their graduation. This is used to be a post-graduation degree. People used to become like lawyers and used to come fresh into the profession somewhere around 26, 27. Nowadays you would see somewhere as someone as young as 17, 18 years old, or 16 years old for that matter, in the first year of law school, roaming the halls of the high court as an intern. But back in those days, people used to enter into this profession fresh, at 26 into or 27, after completing their graduation, after completing the LLB degree, used to work for a few years, and by the time they actually started their independent practice that could support their individual self, it was 35. So a few revisions were suggested, a few revisions were made. NLS came up, the National Law School of India, the first NLU we can say, was established. It started the 5 year law program, a program with an aim so that people can study law more than just a recourse का thing, because मम्मी पापा को बोलते हुए तो सुना ही होगा, back then they used to say कुछ नहीं किया तो law कर लिया. So more than it was less of a residual thing, more than full-fledged thing more than a full-fledged career choice, that a person straight out of a child, or a high schooler straight out of the high school, just after completing their 12th board exam, actually they voluntarily make this choice, so that the cream of the nation are also diverted toward this thing, to inculcate a better legal practice, inculcate a sense and a culture of better lawyers into the Indian diaspora. So yes, that is what happened. The entire boom of NLUs happened, law firms happened, and however, this multi-billion-dollar industry that has happened now, that has proliferated right now in India, happened. But right now, what we see, that at the onset of AI, at the onset of a lot of things, people are again choosing. People who have already done their graduation are again choosing to come back to law at a more matured phase of their life, wherein they want to take up the professional aspect of law only. They don't want to engage themselves in a complete 5 year degree, but rather a 3 year degree after doing a bachelor's in some area of their choice, or after when they have done their bachelor's in an area wherein they did not know that they wanted to do. Or for the most part, people who have just got done with their UPSC, people who have just got done, who were unable to crack CLAT in the UG. For all of these people, the Nlsat 2027 exam came out. So for the 5 year course into NLS, we have admissions through CLAT. You need to get around like under 200 or 100 something under rank to get into NLS via CLAT. For the 3 year LLB course, we have Nlsat 2027. So needless to mention, Nlsat 2027 is an admission test for the 3 year LLB course into NLSI. The NRIF rank 1 law school in India, 120 सीट्स जनरल रिजर्व अनरिजर्व सब मिला के, ओपन मेरिट में completely horizontal सब unreserved सब काट के, that you will get around 40 to 42 seats. We will be talking about the breakdown soon. 150 marks का exam, and today you are sitting somewhere around 10 months, like 20 days ahead of your D-Day. So 10-month plan. These are all the things that we'll be discussing in this video. So let's start. First, let's talk about NLSAT. Let's talk about NLSAT. How does it look like? So the average age that we figured it out based on all the students that studied with us, based on all the interviews we have conducted, based on all the students who normally apply for like the mock test, all the mock test that we give out. From all of that, we figured out that the average age of people who attempt for this exam is 24 to 26. And the generally people from engineering background, people from medicine, people also from humanities and commerce, that is also a very big majority, professional people also come up and join this. This is a very basic introduction, but this average age we have noticed around 24 to 26, and I also believe that this average age is pushed slightly up towards the higher side, because a lot of students we have seen are around 22 to 23, around 60%. Then we have another very separate class of students. We have a very separate class of students whose age is, how do I say, somewhere around separate class, somewhere around late 20s, early 30s, who are professionals, have years of work experience, and they have now come into this field. So yeah, varied stuff, you see. Then what do we have? How does the admission process looks like, the entire reservation table? Let's see. So you will, end of the day, you will have 40 to 40 seats out of the total 120 seats. 40 to 40 seats say 54 seats you will have for the general category before the horizontal reservations. एंड में 40 to 42 तुमको मिल जाएगा. ओबीसी एनसीएल के लिए 27, एससी 18, ईडब्ल्यूएस 12, एसटी 9. And is general में horizontal you will get 25% Karnataka women, 25% women, 25% Karnataka domicile, and 5% PWD. So essentially, if you see 40 to 42 general unreserved seats you have got. And let's test the total number of people who are sitting for this exam. This year around 3000 people actually registered for the exam. We will again file another RTA to see how many people are sitting for the exam, and you can check 3000 में से 0.1% would be like 30 people. उससे थोड़ा ऊपर है, somewhat just ये 1.2 or like 1.5 ऐसा कुछ is the selection rate. Then the parts of the exam, the structure of the exam that you guys need to know. It is going to be a 150 marks exam, but it is not going to be linear. It is divided into two parts, 75 marks each. 75 marks for part A and 75 marks for part B. We suggest that you give around 70 minutes to each part. Give around 70 minutes to each part. Just a second, guys. We suggest you give around 70 minutes to part A and the remainder of the 80 minutes to part B. We'll do a complete phase-wise planning of that really soon as well. So, how does the part A and the part B look like? In part A, you get 75 multiple choice questions. In these 75 multiple choice questions, these are broken around 4 heads. Actually 3 heads, but for that matter 4 heads. What are those? Number 1, CR. CR is your critical reasoning. Number 2, RC, reading comprehension. And number 3 and 4, current affairs and general knowledge. So those are your 4 parts on which part A questions are asked. These are MCQs. For every correct answer, you get +1. For every wrong or again unattempted question, it's a minus 0.25 marks. This is your first level of the exam. Now you move on to the second level. Second level is not objective. It is a subjective exam. Second one is a subjective exam. How does this exam actually take place? You get to write 6 answers. But again, not uniform. 5 out of those 6 answers are going to be legal answer writing, wherein you will be posed with a hypothetical scenario and you have to write answers on that based on legal reasoning, concepts of law, not actual laws and actual rules, because that is a hypothetical scenario. That is going to be some country known as Devenia. No country like Devenia exists. It is the Indian Contract Act. It is Bharatiya Nagarik Suraksha Sanhita. There is no rule for Devenia or no law for Devenia. So, but the principles of law, mostly tort law, like negligence, like mistake, all of those principles based on those questions will be asked. So, yeah, moving ahead from that. However, just completing this, you will be asked to write 6 answers. 5 of them are going to be legal answer writing questions, 12 mark each, 60 marks, and 1 essay writing question, 15 marks each, which is going to be 15 plus 60, 75 marks in total. The 15 marks essay question is again going to be something contemporary. I will be giving you example on how these year's questions look like. We'll be talking about them in real time, real soon. Then, the gate. Understand that with an exception to whatever happened this year, whatever huge academic failure happened this year and has been consistently happening with all the testing agencies, testing bodies with our nation for the past few months, with an exception to that, understand that not all copies are selected for this evaluation. For every 1 seat at Nlsat, 5 copies are selected. So how many seats are there at Nlsat? There are 120 seats. 120 times 5, 600. So for every 1 seat at Nlsat, 5 copies are evaluated for part B. So top 600 ranks of the rank list that will be prepared, top 600 ranks of those copies will be selected for evaluation. Again, this rank list is the top 600. This rank list for part A is again category based. It is prepared in that manner. So for general, like the 40 times 5, top 200 seats, top 200 copies for the general in part A will be selected for part B evaluation. That is why it becomes very, very important to have a very strong foundation built on part A from the very start of your preparation, so that with upon that strong foundation you can increase your rank on part B, because part B is something that you can build in 1 month or two. But to ace part A, but to be in a position that you're scoring consistently high in all the mocks throughout your preparation, or at least the last 1.5 months to 1 month of preparation in part A, you need to have a practice run of like 4 to 5 months before that. And to have a well educated practice run, a practice run, not a hit and trial and hit and miss run, you need to start reading, develop those skills on the way to be able to practice really good as well. So that necessarily makes this entire exercise a 10-month run. Moving ahead, so, how are these questions for part A generally asked? There are no separate questions for RC, CR, or GK. All of these things are clubbed. As in, there are 7 to 8 passages, and on passages mein hi, there are like 10 to 11 questions, and on those things, you are asked about all of these things. So, there are very dense passages. Each passage is around 400 to 600 words long, and they are broken. Questions are asked around these things, repeated across 8 to 10 passages. These type of questions are repeated across 8 to 10 passages. So general knowledge ke 25 to 30 questions are asked, RC ke 25 and CR ke 20 to 25. See, the highest share is of general knowledge. 37% of the questions we have seen this consistently being asked out of GK. So a few people generally ask me that I'm weak at GK. So if I have to just clear part A, can I rather focus on these things, make these immaculate, and GK may I can just a good portion, a good lot, I can just let go? No. Rather, focus on all of these things equally. If not, if not, if not equally, then give some of your more efforts to GK as well, because the ROI on RC and CR after continued practice increases. But for GK, you need to be on your tiptoes, because GK में क्या होता है, NLSAT, you may find that okay, they are asking it out of the book, but there is a very consistent pattern in which NLSAT asks questions in GK. We'll be discussing about that as well in some time. But yes, there is a very consistent way in which NLSAT asks questions about GK. Firstly, and secondly, you also need to see that reading skills, CRRC, help you a way more in your part B as well. These are the foundations. When you develop these skills well, you are not only able to read stuff really good now, you are also able to write stuff really good. Then, moving ahead, if I talk about the CR and RC part, you can see the kind of questions that are asked these days a lot. Direct fact retrieval question, that go and search me this fetch me this stick kind of questions, they have reduced by a heavy margin. You can see they have been declining. Inference and strengthening and weakening questions are the ones you would see in all passages in multiplicity. That is why these become your most important lot to target with this author's tone and purpose and perspective main point. With major mistakes we have seen people commit in mocks on these two questions. And with respect to CA, GK, current affairs, and GK, people are the questions that are the most asked, awards are most asked, books are most asked. So next year NLSAT May, a question might come around these students, this Nisargaditya, Siddhant, something, all of these students who are like currently challenging CBSE, the OSM thing and everything. Because this year a question came around, who was the first journalist, the first whistleblower against the Jeffrey Epstein, the Epstein Island thing. And previous year there was a lot of questions around people's name, Sahitya Academy Award, this award, that award. So yes, questions around those things might come up. The questions around those things come across a lot. Beyond that, awards are asked, international summits to some extent are asked. The questions are not very vague and unrelated like they are asked in UPSC prelims. They are in some way related to social issues, prevalent social debates, and all of these things. Because in 2025, a lot of questions were asked related to the Ranveer Alabadia guidelines. There were passages on that. There was an essay question asked on that. रणवीर अलाहाबादिया समय रैना के ऊपर lot of things were on that. Freedom of speech के ऊपर बहुत सारी चीजें थी during near in the vicinity of the exam और पिछले वाले vicinity of the 2025 exam. So questions were asked on that. Similarly, just follow through the main things that have been happening throughout the year. Have a good read on that. Read newspaper regularly, and you will be able to answer LSAT Part A. That will not be that big of a deal. Then we need to see how part B is dealt with, and I have already discussed it. How one part is of 60 marks, one part is of 15 marks. Social legal questions are asked you, and you have to write it in 400 to 50 words. And this case may, with respect to the legal answer writing, 5 case scenarios are given to you, 12 mark each. You have to write it in 200 to 250 words. This was in 400 words. And again, there is a specific structure to write these answers called IRAC. Why Iraq? Understand that the people who at the end of the day are checking these legal answers, uh, they are checking a very softened version of this legal answers, because वापस जाके उन्हें जो आंसर चेक करना है उनकी क्लास का, उस पर तुम्हारा रूल भी रहेगा, एनालिसिस रहेगा, दो चार ऑथर रहेंगे, केस लॉज रहेंगे, वो सारी चीजें रहेंगी. बट दे आर नाउ willfully deliberately dumbing themselves down कि ओके चेक कॉपीज जहाँ पे ये सारी चीजें नहीं है, प्योर लीगल लॉजिक पे बातें हो रही हैं. सो by that manner they are not expecting any prior legal knowledge out of you that is written in the notification, but still they will be impressed if you don't boast, don't jargonize. That is not what I mean. But if you make them see कि okay, you understand how legal writing is written. Legal writing, be it legal papers, blogs, updates, answers, research papers, projects, everything follows one very simple way of writing something. We call it the IRAC. IRAC is you first state the issue. After stating the issue, you go ahead, tell, okay, this is the rule that needs to be followed. Do some characterization of all the people around the rule who will be affected by the same, who are benefited by the rule. Then go ahead and analyze the fact system that has been given to you with the characterization of the rule, and conclude. So that is something, that is a skill that you cannot watch a lecture to learn. This is by practice only. You have to write a lot of part B answers, you will have to get them reviewed, you will have to get them checked, and only after that you can learn this. पॉलिसी की तो बात क्या है, इफ व्हेन यू are in this debate discourse, be it on social media platforms, be it which I suggest more through newspaper editorials, you get a very good understanding of how to write the answer to something on a policy level, not just rant about some topic, but from gender perspective, feminist perspective हो गया, कैपेबिलिटीज अप्रोच, पोवर्टी, ये वो चार पांच सोशो पॉलिटिकल के कुछ मेट्रिक्स होते हैं, उनके बेसिस पे हाउ यू कैन राइट आंसर. यू विल गेट टू नो दैट वंस two things only: reading newspaper regularly, and the second thing that you get is getting your answers reviewed. Then this year the kind of questions that were asked, see, one was asked on a gig worker classification. This is for the legal answer writing के जो 5 question होते हैं. One was asked on gig worker classification. The principal intention was platform partner versus statutory employee, because बात तो बहुत हो रही है कि gig workers don't have a lot of securities, a lot of nets that actual employees do. So there was a question that was asked around that lines only. Can we qualify gig workers onto that definition as well? There was a question on contributory negligence, and it was a lot to what we actually had, both what we actually had practiced for in a lot of mocks, what was asked in previous year as well. Because see, every time you are asked about two tautology questions, that has been a staple. These are the two questions, these two kinds we practice regularly. There are a lot of different kinds of questions that has been asked previously, and we practice them as well, be it vicarious liability, be it negligence. So ये जो दोनों चीजें थी, एक फ्रॉड के ऊपर क्वेश्चन था और ड्यूटी ऑफ केयर के ऊपर क्वेश्चन था. You can see even in our YouTube channel we have uploaded a lot of dedicated videos onto this. Last year का master class on part B, या फिर the one shot for part B, in both of those lectures I have taught duty of care के बारे में, and questions have been asked on this. This is not miracle that we are proposing. This is these are the type of questions that are asked. So what we do is, what we prepare our students for is, we tell them that this is the type of question that will be asked. Write these kind of words. these kinds of legal lingo in this question. On these metrics, you need to provide your arguments, and you're good to go. Then there was a question asked on election eligibility. This I proposed for the essay question. I did not know that, okay, this will be turned on herein. But again, the kind of way we discussed it for the essay, उस तरह से तो it was not asked in part B, part मतलब not asked in the legal answer writing, because it was on the purposive determination, literal determination, purposive interpretation, literal interpretation of legal language उसके ऊपर था. So yeah, you, that thing is like the precondition of understanding rule of law, kinds of interpretation of rules. We have separate lecture for that. We have had like a lot of lectures for that. So yeah, I believe anyone who has attended those lectures, even though on YouTube or on our paid batch, would be able to add a lot more depth to these answers. Then free speech versus misinformation के around, there was a deepfakes related question. With respect to essay, 2024 में right to protest के ऊपर essay था. In 2025, we got domestic labor pay, social media bans for minors, and three language formula, NEP wala. And in 2026, excuse me, and in 2026, we have some international law issues, offensive war justification, deplatforming, and social conscription, different kinds of issues, as you can see herein. So, after all of these things, or once we are done talking with these things, then the difficulty. You see, Nlsat has not been consistent with level with the by the way of difficulty as we are speaking. So 2022 was moderate to easy. It was very vocabulary heavy. A lot of flamboyant language was used, but comprehension was very direct. Even today, if you pick up that question paper, you can easily solve it by the way of elimination only. A lot of questions. 2023 was a difficult paper, and 2024, I believe, people say 2026 was difficult. I believe like 2024 was the most difficult paper in the history in this 5 year run of NLSAT. 2025 extremely easy paper, and this year paper beyond difficulty increase because it was a sudden jump, as you can see here as well. But beyond the difficulty increase also, what exactly changed with 2026 is there has been a lot of administrative problems. See the previous video on this channel, you will be able to know what actually happened. So yeah, after this, category wise safe scores, we need to discuss that as well. If you are in the general or unreserved category, your safe score in part A needs to be 60 to 62. This is this year ka year I'm talking about. And part B 38 to 40. Score should be 98 to 100. If you are in EWS, 55 to 57, 27 to 32, and 82 to 87 should be your aggregate score. 52 to 54 for OBC NCL, and SC ST PWD के लिए पार्ट ए में 46 to 50, पार्ट बी में 22 to 26, and aggregate should be 68 to 72. ठीक है. And you must be knowing about the tiebreaker. Equal aggregates are resolved in favor of a higher part B score. ठीक है. And yeah, so your main goal is to score 60 plus in part A, 38 plus in part B, which is pretty achievable if you follow through this plan over the remainder of the months, which is the next 10 months. So see, we have divided this plan into like 5 phases. Be very careful as I discuss the 5 phases. The phase 1 is the foundation, phase 2 is skill building, performance, advanced, and the last run. June, July, this month and the next month, you will have to improve your reading habits and your core analytical skills. In August and September, you will have to work on your speed, accuracy, and actual problem solving, question paper solving acumen. By October, December, you are now already in the mock race. You are already in the race with people next to both your ears. By this, you have now been in the mock race. Like you have also now corrected yourself every time you were going wrong and ready for the final sprint. Revise, recapitulate, and everything. So lot of people do the mistake of starting in here or here. That is why ये जो 5 महीने का पूरा ये होता है, they completely miss and they stumble a lot. We will not do that. It's not that I am asking you guys to do a lot of things, study 10 hours a day from this moment on, but follow these tips, tricks, follow these advices from this moment on, and you will be able to build yourself a very, 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 very good skill set by the time you are competing with these people in October, December. Because understand, October, December में preparation शुरू करोगे, there will be a set of people, हर mock जो तुम हमारे platform में दोगे, top 3-4 में there will be repeated set of names. You will then start to think that these repeated set of people are like some kind of prodigies, इनको सब पता है, and you will start to feel inferior, you will start to क्या blame yourselves. Do not do that. Follow these small things, small habits, inculcate these small habits from that right now, and in the long run, what will you have? First, you will have experience to how to deal with the paper. Second, you will be able to improve yourself, minimize your room for error. Third, it will also give you time to prepare for OLEDs, other 3 LLB law entrance examinations. Because God forbid if anything here and there goes on with Nlsat 2027, you still have a lot of options. There was a student with us, immaculate, the repeated top 4 or 5. Great guy, knew, always very active in classes, but the problem that came with the part B evaluation, his copy was initially not checked. Then you couldn't believe he was given 7 or 8 marks in part B, which is impossible given he attempted all answers, wrote answers to all of them, which is impossible. But could not get through into NLSAT. We are still working on with the examination department for that thing. But working out forward with the examination department for that thing. But he performed well in CNLUET. He performed extremely well. He got 99 point some percentile in MHCT because he put in these hours that were required. There is a saying in Urdu कि खुद ही को कर बुलंद इतना कि हर तकदीर से पहले खुदा खुद बंदे से पूछे बता तेरी रजा क्या है. If you are well able, if you are ready for all the adverse scenarios, then no scenarios will be adverse enough for you. So follow these things. In the phase 1, in the June July part, we will be focusing on the editorial annotation. Pick up the Hindu or the Indian Express and dissect every editorial. See what is the claim that the author is trying to make, what are the assumptions that are lying underneath those claims. Essentially, learn the art of skim and scan reading, learn the art of actually reading, understanding, and inferring things out of something. Both of those skills, very, very important. Second, analyzing the passage. It is very, very important that you start learning the skill as well. We have dedicated set of videos on our channel. You will find a lot of different material on our website and a lot of different free materials as well on nlsat.in, wherein we provide you sources on how to analyze for every paragraph, how to break down each paragraph into an introductory line, a claim, an evidence part claim, evidence a part evidencing that claim, and a view, opinion, or a conclusion. When you start to break down into these things, you get to understand, okay, the author is talking about these 4 things in this editorial. With respect to these 4 things, he has given these 4 or 5 examples and concluded from the claim and example ko compare karke this thing. From those 4 conclusions, the final conclusion is this. The main point what the author was trying to talk about was this. This is the way you should actually start reading. Mapping your passages. This point was said in the second paragraph. This point third. This point fourth. This is the way you should read a passage. So to enable yourself to read a passage in that way, you need to actually read the sample passages for Nlsat. Where do most of these Nlsat passages come from? Editorial sections of the Hindu, Indian Express, Economic Times, those only. So read those things. Read some classic books. Dostoevsky ho gaya, Kafka ho gaya, because White Knights has been like 2 or 3 times at this point been asked in Nlsat exam. So yeah, look at all of those things. And GK Foundation. You need to focus a lot on GK questions. Got it? You need to focus a lot on GK questions for solve them. And yeah, see, read by newspaper, by these sources. You need to see how GK things are asked and everything. Then phase 2, your August to September, is going to be a skill building part. Is going to be a skill building part wherein you need to work on your reading habits. Right now, you would be reading 3 to 4 passages in less than 8 minutes. And you will again be inferencing them, directing things from them. So you need to try solving questions. For that, you need to have, what do you say? You need to have materials, books out of you which you have to solve questions. So herein you start the practice run. Then in the phase 3 performance part, what do? Full length mock test you start to do, 1 to 2 every week, under 2 hours strict. Right now you are now in the practice run. Review the mocks, very very important. There is a video on our channel wherein I especially teach you how to review your mock, how to compare your performance with the past mock, how to target set for the next mock. Watch that video and focus on essays and GK a lot. And in the advanced phase, right now you are both competing, improving, and making sure that all your weaknesses are eliminated. You are targetedly practicing on all the mocks, speed drills doing RC and logical reasoning questions, passages timed and doing, sectionals you are attempting, and you are refining your part B with GK revision regularly, because you have made yourself a very good GK revision set for every day. The final sprint, the last month, that will mostly be covered by us via specialized mock test series and everything. But in the last month, you need to give these many mock tests with, like, 7 days before the exam, no mock tests, just revision. These many mock tests, 2 to 3 mocks you need to give every week, and then write over 100, so that you target to write over 100 part B answers, get them reviewed, write 15 to 20 essays, get them reviewed, focus on your improvement, reattempt a few past papers, see if you are improving on the part A right now or not, and every day 30 minutes you are doing GK revisions from all the notes you have made, all the notes you have annotated over all of these months. So this should be your repeatable thing that you do every day. Every day, give a 35 to 25 to 30 minutes for a GK sweep and dissect one editorial. Every week, try to timely solve a few passages in less than 8 minutes and write IRAC answers plus essay and map 2 policy issues. Take up 2 issues and see how they have been operating. ठीक है, ये mock का ये तो आएगा, when the time comes I'll tell you. So right now, what essentially you have to do for GK, understand that every day go on to the newspaper, keep newspaper as your source for GK, read through the newspaper. Right now, keep newspaper as your source for GK. When the exam comes, there will be dedicated magazines that you'll have to review. But first, be thorough with all the concepts. There are different types of concepts जहाँ पे general knowledge you have to build. Not all things you have to build general knowledge. Be thorough slowly with the kind of things that have been going on, because magazines में issue क्या होता है, they don't give you the policy level analysis of these things. So if you have the early start का advantage, अभी से start on reading newspapers, understand the policy objective behind something that is happening, the backstory behind something that is happening, read up on all of these things slowly and slowly. When you enter the second phase, you will have our magazines. When magazines say, you see, match, okay, this thing I've read in the newspaper, this thing I've not read, keep reading the magazines, keep revising the magazines, make additions to the magazines, make your topics addition to the magazines, and keep revising them. Then keep a separate copy wherein you're mapping the topic issues. Magazines and everything are separate. They are like data points. Remember data points, names and everything. But there will be 5 to 10 topics which will be asked in you, which have the highest probability of being asked in your essay. Keep reading on editorials, keep reading on online blogs on those topics. Gautam Bhatia's blog is a very famous one on constitutional issues. Start reading that. Get yourself involved with the constitutional ethos of our nation, the reformative constitutional writing, the revolutionary writing, all of those things. See how those things are written. That will give you an idea on how you need to write on policy issues when it comes to essay writing. So yes guys, those were all the suggestions. You guys are very well versed with all of these things. So yeah, best of luck. Keep studying. Whatever doubts you have, you can text us on our Telegram group or you can message us herein. With that said, this was Surya from Law Friend, and as I always say, aim to be.
Are you preparing for 3-year LLB entrance exams but feeling overwhelmed and unsure where to start? Do you struggle with finding the right resources, guidance and clarity, all in one place? Tired of institutions selling just mock tests or rebranding old materials meant for other exams and charging a fortune for it? Introducing LawFriend, your one-stop solution for 3-year LLB entrance exams. LawFriend brings you cutting-edge tools to supercharge your preparation. With our exams portal, you can participate in live All India tests and instantly see your rank, giving you real-time insights into your performance. Practice questions on individual topics, sharpen your skills, and get exam ready with confidence. Law Friend, aim to be